What are you up against and how difficult is college wrestling? I've had this conversations many times with parents over the years, and I always refer back to this statistic. I don't know who did it. I think it was a National High School Coaches Association. They looked at 2000 or 2012, right? The graduating class of 2012. And then they looked over the next 4 to 5 years, all of the top 10 ranked wrestlers in America. How did they do? Because your career is either 4 or 5 years, whether or not you redshirt. So they looked and said, where are we at in 2016 and 17? And they basically followed those guys. 90%, well, let's say this, 10% of the top 10 ranked high school wrestlers in America were all Americans. 90% were not. 90% of the top 10 ranked kids in America failed to be an All-American. Now, sure, some of them maybe didn't stick with it. I mean, you know, obviously injuries, things like that is a big part of it sometimes. So you say, man, why even try? That's just so hard. Well, but they also followed up in something like, well, it wasn't something like, it was right at 60% of the Division I All-Americans those 2 years were not ranked top 10 in the nation. Some of them, like Gabe Dean from Cornell, 3-time finalist, 2-time champ, I think he was ranked like 58th or something. There were guys who were ranked, you know, as low as 180 or not ranked at all. The Minnesota guy, Farr, P-F-A-R-R, he made the finals. He wasn't even really on the radar. So they're like, man, I got a chance again. And you do. The problem is this. If your kids are not ranked in the nation, people say rankings don't count, but they do. Otherwise, the coaches wouldn't look at them. Rankings count. Now, you don't have to be ranked, and you can still have big success. And the fact that 60% of the All-Americans were not even ranked in the top 20 or 25, and something like 30%, 25% weren't even ranked in the top 50 or 100. That proves it. But if you're not ranked or on anybody's radar, how do you get a chance to wrestle in college? That's the hard part. So those are the guys who are basically throwing their dice and you know, maybe going to a big college. Now, you cannot be a Division I All-American if you wrestle Division II or III or NAIA. You can't. So a lot of those guys who went to those schools either went to smaller colleges and had a you know, decent scholarship, I'm guessing 10 to 30%, or they went to the big time colleges and, you know, sort of pretty much walked on and made it happen for themselves, which that's good too, right? Either way. So the issue is this. If you're not ranked, you're going to have a real hard time getting a college wrestling scholarship. If you're ranked top 10 in the nation, you're fine. Everyone's going to know you. Everyone's going to contact you. You're going to be fine. So the fact that 60% of the top of the All-Americans weren't ranked is very exciting, and you should be super excited about that because you still have a chance. But you have to get into a college program. So that's where the issue lies. So understand that. And I'm going to share with you what we do. Checking out our septic here at the wrestling gym. We're getting a new big septic system put in finally. I'll probably put the camera out and show you what we have here anyway. But so what we do is we have a college recruiting center, and we basically tell people, if you're ranked top 10 in the nation, you don't even need it, right? It's just $20 a month. And what we do is we have a program where you can help develop relationships with these coaches. And you have a profile on our website at perlowrestling.com, and you basically have, it's beautiful. There's great graphics. You have pictures of yourself. You put your videos on there. You put links. You constantly update them. You have your school information. your coach's contact information, your cell phone number, because this is the issue. These coaches don't know you, and they're not going to find you unless you find them. But they get pounded every day by moms and dads and coaches, and maybe even kids, and they just hit the delete button. They tell me they do. They're like, I can't keep up. Everybody's son is going to be the next all-star. Everybody wants a chance. Everybody has a kid who just needs a shot and is a hard worker, right? Well, if 90% of the top 10 ranked kids in America fail to be an All-American, why should they believe that, right? It's almost like they're just gambling on those other guys and just developing. It's like they find their way there by accident. And remember also, as far as winning a state title, if you win a state title in California, you're good. You win a state title in, Indiana, one state champ, you're good. Pennsylvania, any divisions, you're good. Missouri, you win a state title in Class 4, probably very helpful. You win a state title in Class 1, 2, or 3, probably not going to do a lot for you. You win a state title in any division in Tennessee, not really a wrestling state, probably not going to do very much good. You win a state title in Iowa, the top 1 or 2 divisions, probably going to be helpful, okay? But most coaches don't come to the state tournaments. They all go to the top schools, right? So it's kind of like everybody's fighting for the top guys, and so you might win 3 state titles, and you're from a non-wrestling state, traditionally, like Colorado or something. People may not know you. You have to go to the national tournaments and stuff, right? And so you kind of get noticed, and you bump heads with the good kids. You have a 5-point match with someone who is a state medalist from California. Boom, that's good, if the coaches know about it. So that's what we do, is we're like, you're a member of our it's a relationship developing. So, what happens is this, too often, parents, their kids senior, and they're like, oh, he wants to wrestle in college, and then they reach out to these college coaches and say, my son's amazing, please come and recruit him, $50,000 will do, he's amazing, he's probably going to make it, give him a chance, he's such a good boy. The coaches like, delete, right? It's like a relationship. You're not going to go to someone in a bar and ask them to marry you or give you 50 grand. It's the same thing. There's a relationship that needs to develop. Unless you're top 10 in the nation, you go win junior nationals. You don't need people like us to help you. You don't need a program. You don't need a relationship developing. They don't want a relationship. They know. Like, this kid won Fargo. We're all laughing. He's got 30 coaches calling him every day. Right? It's this other 98% of us. So what we do is, every 20 days we email these college coaches. We're like, hey, so-and-so, here's an update. So-and-so did this. So-and-so did that. So-and-so just had a 3-point match. He's really, closed the gap. He went to the Cheesehead tournament in Wisconsin and had a tight match with a number 1 ranked guy in America, all right, which that just happened. And then the college coach is like, man, I keep hearing that kid's name. And then on our email list, there's links to the bios. They click the bio, then they can kind of scroll through. And now, when you can see this at PearlWrestling.com. When they scroll through, they're like, holy cow, I keep seeing this kid. They start to get to know you. It's just like someone you follow on Facebook or Instagram. You didn't really know them. They're kind of a friend of a friend of a friend or something. Then you act like you really feel like you sort of know that person, right? Some of you might feel like you know me because I'm on here all the time. Same type of deal. Now, whenever this wrestler becomes a junior or a sophomore, and then these coaches are like, hey, I want to kind of get to know this kid a little more. Boom. Beautiful, right? The problem is this. A college, according to the NCAA rules, a college cannot contact your kids until June, I believe 10th. It's June, before your junior year. They can't contact you. So if you're like, man, my kid's a freshman or sophomore, the colleges may want your kids, but it's illegal for them to contact you. But these colleges can follow up. They can reply. So you come to us, or the colleges can, and they say, hey, I like this sophomore, Espinoza from California. Can you put me in touch with this kid? And I'm like, yes. And then I get a hold of you or your parents. And guess what? I'm like, here's the coach's info. And you contact the coach. And the coach can now go back and forth with you on the cell phone or email. So it's kind of, it's just working around the rules. So the recruiting rules are set in place by the NCAA, I think, to keep, I don't know why they're set like that. Right? I guess they just don't want coaches contacting, freshmen or something. But obviously it's nice if you have us break the ice for you and you can legally make contact with them. So if you had interest, you could check it out, perlerwrestling.com. You just go to our college recruiting center, and I'll show you our facility here real quick. It's probably gonna be crappy, but you can see we got a bunkhouse there. There's 9,000 square foot, 120 beds. We have a wrestling facility here. There's 2 wrestling rooms in there. So there's a kitchen area back there and an eating pavilion. There's a rec room there. We're knocking out this wall. We're going to put a 2,200 square foot combative sports fitness center in there so our athletes can get big and strong and tough. So we got camps out here, weekly academy. We have once a month overnight camps out here. We're starting Friday night fights, which will be a scrimmage out here. We're just outside of St. Louis. Last year, we've sold out almost every year for the past 16. But this is going to be our 3rd summer in this facility. We were at a different place. But last year we had kids coming from Alaska, Hawaii, Connecticut, Maine, Florida, even Japan. And they flew in just for our camp. They didn't just come and visit the States. They flew in, came to our camp, and flew out. But so kids come here from all over the place. We also have a girls-only wrestling camp the first week of June. So we have a lot going on. Starting jiu-jitsu here. My son and son-in-law and daughter are going to start that. So a lot going on out here. But as far as the college recruiting center, check it out, perlerwrestling.com. We have 2 combines. They're college recruiting camps out here, and we're going to start them for girls too. So you can see our YouTube channel. All of our college recruiting videos are there, and we share those links with the coaches, and the coaches can see your wrestler drilling, wrestling live from all positions. There's 95 videos from the last recruiting combine, and obviously these college coaches have access to your bio at perlerwrestling.com, and they can click there and watch videos and matches. When you have, after the state tournament, you have some big matches and big wins, you put those on there and you email us, and then we share that with the college coaches. Hey, don't forget to check out Logan Ferrero. He just won another state title, and he beat so-and-so, and here he is at Virginia Beach. He just placed out there, and he beat the so-and-so state champ from Minnesota who just committed to the University of Minnesota. And this college coach is like, oh wow, it's like the best buyer strategy, right? They're like, man, if Minnesota won at that kid and Nick's kid beat that kid, we're going to check them out. And then they hit the link, and then they watch, and then they contact you, or we contact them first if they're not of age, and then boom, now the relationship's going. So that's what we do. We've had since 2005 over $4 million worth of college wrestling scholarships by our guys, so it's pretty impressive. Good luck.